T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Shout out to USARK and all the USARK members. If you don't know what USARK is, do not be ashamed. Simply click on the third link in the description below. Go to usark.org. See what it's all about. See how you could actually protect your own collection whenever a legislation might hit your backyard. You just never know. Things are changing constantly in the reptile hobby, and it's good to know when things are creeping up in your area. So shout out to Phil Goss, shout out to Vanessa, shout out to Jeremy, shout out to all the USARK supporters and teammates out there. Cannot wait to see how much we fight this year to keep our animal rights. And if you're not a USARK member, talk to your fellow keepers and just let them know what USARK's all about, and they're here to protect our animal rights. Shout out to USARK and all the USARK supporters.
What's up? What's up, friends? Happy Sunday, or this will be Sunday by the time you guys are watching this. It is actually currently Wednesday, so we are recording this a little in advance. So happy Sunday for when we see you guys. Guys, you are now tapped into Trap Talk Reptile Network, the coolest reptile podcast on the planet. And this specifically is Girls Who Love Reptile podcast. So if you're new here, welcome. I'm super excited to sit down and chat with you guys. And if you're not new here, guys, I'd be giving you a shout out. But again, this is Wednesday. So before we get started, guys, I do want to go ahead and just give my little blurb. So today we are talking retics, specifically, I think more in the lines of dwarf retics and mini dwarf retics, which I'm super excited to talk about. But we are talking about something every single day of the week. Whatever is your pick of the poison, whatever is your thing that you are interested in, I promise you the network's talking about it, and it's podcast every single day. So make sure that you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, make sure that you're following so that you will see whenever something is dropped that you might be interested in. And if you've got suggestions of something that you want to see, by all means, let us know. Let somebody know. You can find me at Coastal Morelia on Instagram. If there's something that you want to see, please hit me up and let me know. I would love to hear from you guys. So as like I've said, we're recording this on Wednesday, and that is because Tenley, NARBC in Tenley is happening this weekend. I'm sure many people will be there. I myself am leaving tomorrow and will be headed there. So if anybody's out and about, hit me up on Instagram. Let's catch up and see what all cool things we can see. So I'm not going to blabber too much. Lots of interesting things going on besides Tenley this weekend. My first clutch is hatching of green trees this weekend. So that'll be exciting. So it's the first clutch of the year. And I know that who we're bringing on today has also been involved in a lot of really interesting green tree clutches, but we're not interested in that today. We're not doing that today. We are doing retics, but she's also had a lot of really interesting things. I don't know jack diddly squat about retics, so I'm super excited to talk to her. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on Jen from Exotics. So here we go.
Hey guys.
Hi. I'm so excited.
I am too. This is so exciting to be on. I appreciate you having me on.
I know. I don't know how you haven't already been on, especially with everything that you're doing, but it's going to be fun. And like I told you back in the back, I decided we're changing up scenery. So I'm not where I normally am. I'm normally in front of the chondros, but I changed it to in front of my big snakes, the scrubs, which was a poor decision on my part because I have eyes in the back of I think they've lost a little bit of interest since I talked to you a second ago. No, not all of them have. Not all of that one up there is like deadpanning me. And then we had to turn the lights off because this one is doing some flickering thing, and my ADHD could not do that the whole time. I couldn't. So, but that's okay. We're in a new space. We're going to hope that nobody hits the enclosure because they've already done it twice. But your lights are all still on, but of course they're not in your face.
Yeah, it's surprising. The one that I'm sitting next to here, he's staring at me. He's like, I think it's food time, Mom. So, you know, I'm no stranger to having a large animal come flying at the glass in the evening.
Oh my gosh. I know.
You're in good company.
These two have already done it, and that's what I'm going to try. I probably shouldn't. I'm going to try to stop doing that. Not do a lot of this hand waving about, because then they're just going to be like, oh.
She's got something.
Yeah, these are, I have to, like, I know I sat and I told you, I was like, we don't do massive snakes, but then these behind me, I hope my husband's not watching this. I still haven't told my husband how big they get.
Oh. That'll be a fun problem for another day.
Oh, it's a problem for another day. I know. The one rule, and this is, I do think that yours kind of fall under this, was, which I don't know if the scrubs might too. The one rule was nothing that could eat the corgi.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think you're safe. You're good.
I'm safe with the scrubs. Yeah, sure.
Feeding your corgi so he stays nice and big.
Oh yeah, we don't have a problem with that. He's nice and big, unfortunately.
Yeah.
He's much heftier than he should be ever since we demanned him, and then the toddler became toddlin, and then the second one came about, and food is just commonly on the floor, and he's like a tiny little short vacuum.
Perfect. Yeah, you gotta have your own Roomba.
Oh my gosh. I know, but the Roomba's getting kind of fat.
Well, the scrubs won't be able to eat him. It's good.
No, but I do think that they could. I don't want to say it on TV. I don't want to say it, but I do think that they could probably. It'd be a bad day.
It'd be a very bad day.
It'd be a very bad day.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm very anal about checking these, like, all these little latches, because they can push out. If one of them is left undone, they can push out. And then they're in a room with a door, very explicitly because of that.
Yeah. Along those same veins, I have cats, and that was always rule number 1 too. Before I got into retics, was nothing that could eat my cat. I was like, no, I'll never have a reticulated python because, oh no, it'll eat one of my cats.
Okay, but wait. I'm pretty sure your cats are just as big as my corgi. Am I not wrong?
Yeah, we have Maine Coons, so they're pretty big, the largest breed of cat, but I have some domestic short hairs too that they could.
Okay. Now, are y'all breeding Maine Coons?
We intend to. Yep. Our females are still young, so we're not there yet, but we're pretty excited about it. New kind of adventure for us.
I love Maine Coons. Okay. I am not a cat person. Like, I am fully, I don't want no cats. However, I have met several Maine Coons. I have a friend back home that breeds them, and they are just so cool, and they're massive, and something about just like a giant cat.
Yeah.
They're chill. They're like cats that act like dogs. And it's so funny that is the way that people describe good cats, as cats that act like dogs.
Super dog-like cats, yeah. They follow us around, and they're involved in everything, and yeah.
My argument has always been, why don't you just get a dog? If you wanted a cat that acts like a dog, why do you not just get a dog?
Cats are cleaner, in my opinion. I like dogs too, though. Don't get me wrong.
I will agree that I think cats are a little bit cleaner. I don't do the litter box stuff, but a little bit cleaner, yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. You know.
Oh my gosh.
Scoop the cat box.
Oh, I don't do yard work though.
Oh.
I don't do yard work. That is a blue job. And I am a big fan. You know what? Here we are. This is a woman's podcast. I am a feminist all day long. But when it comes to blue jobs, I'm not taking the trash out. I don't even know how to work a lawnmower. I'm going to be honest. I have no idea how to work a lawnmower. I have got a husband and 2 little boys.
You're set? That's
I know I need to mow a lawn. Heck to the no. So, Yeah, I don't deal with yard work. And if we had a cat, I'm not scooping no poop.
To be fair, I am not the primary one who does the cat boxes either.
No, and then I say that, and then these things definitely have cat-sized poops. So,
you know, it's pretty much poop every day, all day, every day, you know, when you've got animals. So you just kind of get used to it.
I know. I cleaned water. So because we're going out of town, I came in here and I changed water up here this morning. And I brought all my stuff up here. And there's a giant poop in this water bowl.
Isn't that nice? Poop soup.
I know. I'm not getting in there though. That's too late. That's too late. You're just going to have to have that. You're just going to have that. So
I have those moments too with the Retics where it's like, yep, not today, Satan. We're not opening that cage door right now. You know, it's funny. Some of them have like very definite moods. And then, you know, you get to know them all and their individual moods and their moments. And yeah, there's some that I can just tell it's not going to be a great interaction. And so I will just say, nope.
That's this one down here in the corner. I think you can see her face. Yes.
Yeah.
The one down in the corner. She hates me. She hates me. I have to hook her out and put her in a spare cage.
Oh my God.
And she stands up like a corn snake does. You see when corn snakes will sit and do like all the way up? She stands up the whole time. Like
it's a little terrifying.
Yes. And the thing is though, is like she will bite. She absolutely will bite. And God forbid if she goes all squirrely and I've got to grab her tail, because if she can't bite me, she's going to rainbow arch piss. On the ceiling.
I feel like that's worse than just getting bit.
I know. I would rather take a bite. Please bite me instead of pee on these builder grade flat paint walls. There is still a line. You can see it right there. There's still a line.
That's lovely. That was a nice present she left you.
Oh, okay. Anyway, okay. So before I get off on a tangent, I want to start at the beginning because I like doing that for everybody. I like starting at the beginning. I like knowing where their journeys, I guess, started. So give me the details. Give me all the good stuff. When, where, how old?
Yeah.
Give me the stuff.
I have been keeping reptiles for about 16 years. You know, I wasn't one of those that was able to have reptiles as a kid because my parents were very much like, you know, no reptiles in the house. We had cats and dogs. That was fine. But my dad was definitely afraid of snakes. And so that was just a no-go. So it was later, you know, in my young adulthood that I got my first snake. And it was just a corn snake. You know, it was interesting to me. I enjoyed it. I got, you know, a ball python and a couple other, you know, very beginner animals, and had them for a number of years. I didn't get into reticulated pythons until I want to say like 8 years later. And then we were going to a reptile show and, you know, that was the thing. Like we said at the beginning, like, can't have a snake that's going to eat my cats because I've always had and you know, so we saw this one vendor and she had, you know, the retic draped around her neck and she's like, come on over. And I was like, that's a really cool snake, but I'm not going to have a retic because they get too big. And she goes, well, this happens to be a super dwarf reticulated python. And I was like, okay, tell me more. And she explained how they come from these smaller island localities where over time insular dwarfism created, you know, from having very small food items available on the island, created these small snakes. And so suddenly there's this possibility of having a species that I didn't think was possible, you know, because they would be too big for me. And so the more I kind of dug into it, I held the super dwarf. I was instantly hooked. The intelligence, the interactivity of the species, like they were aware. Like I don't know if you've held like a ball python and you're like, they're not really aware of like
nothing. Smooth brain.
They're very cool, you know, there's lots of pretty colors, and I am not hitting on ball pythons in any way, they're just not as exciting to me. And so holding that reticulated python where it was kind of looking around and it was aware of what was happening around it, it was interactive, it was calm and confident, I was like, this is really, really freaking cool. And so I ended up, and this is a, do as I say, not as I do. You should never just impulse buy a reptile without doing any research. But I ended up buying her that day, that super dwarf retic, and I still have her to this day. She's in this cage up here in the top. A pure female Kalatoa super dwarf, and was just totally enamored, obsessed, and it kind of like spiraled from there. I shouldn't say spiraled, but it developed from there. I was doing constant research on, the different morphs, the different localities. How do you, get the smallest snake, which is the smallest super dwarfs come from Karompa Island. Like, well, who has those? How do you get them? And I found out that you could actually get on a wait list to get one of these tiny retics where the males only get to like 5 feet. They weigh like 2-3 pounds. They're tiny. Huge, but they're like super skinny. He's actually sitting here. The Karompa male is sitting here right next to me. So, they're really tiny locality. And it was like a 2-year wait list to get one of these things. They hadn't been produced in the US yet. And so, I was like digging, and I started talking to the breeder. It was very much a, hi, I'm Jen. I don't know anything, but I really want to get to know you. And like, can you tell me about all of these things? And really kind of dug my feet in, or kind of elbowed my way into the industry, I guess. Just in a, I want to get to know everybody and learn all of the things kind of way. And also found a local mentor who was breeding mainland retics. So I got experience with some really large reticulated pythons as well, which was really kind of eye-opening, because when you have this tiny little super dwarf at home that's like a little shoestring, you don't really, I think, appreciate the power and the strength of a full-size mainland reticulated python. So getting that kind of mentorship and one-on-one experience with dealing with those animals was really cool. I've
ever held one.
They're amazing. I mean, just the strength and the power, like I can see how they could very easily overpower somebody if they don't know what they're doing. It is a dangerous animal. And I guess there's kind of some rush to that. Never considered myself like a thrill junkie, but there is some rush to knowing like I'm reading this really powerful animal so that I can stay safe. And that's a very cool thing, to have a relationship with an animal that could hurt you and chooses not to, because you guys have an understanding of each other.
Heck yeah. That's awesome.
And then, from there, I actually started working at a local private zoo here in the Houston, Texas area. I became a reptile keeper, taking care of 200 to 300 large constrictors. It was mostly reticulated pythons, but we also had African rock pythons. We had anacondas, several Burmese, bat eaters, different hybrids as well. And so, I got a lot of hands-on experience through that. And I've just it just fostered my love of these animals.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of developed and grown through the process. I met my husband through being a reptile keeper, because he is also a reptile keeper of green tree pythons. And so, we got together, and it's been a snake house ever since.
Oh, I bet. I cannot imagine having 2 people working 2 different projects. Because the house is full. My house is full.
Yeah.
So I cannot imagine having 2, especially like the large animals that you have. I mean, like I'm upstairs in my my second room that I've got 6 scrub cages, and 3 of them are not even like in their adult cages. And even these guys, I have a plan to upgrade them. These are 4 foot, and I have a plan to upgrade them into 6 foot. So even then, like I've got them up here, and then I've just got the emeralds, which I keep my emeralds in. 3-foots or 4-foots as well. So this room is full.
Yeah.
And they're nothing like, what size cages are that behind you?
So these are 8-foot cages and they're 3-foot deep behind me.
Oh my gosh. And you have, what does it look like? Is there 8 of them on that wall?
There's 4, and then these ones next to it are 4-foot cages. So
Okay.
I've got actually 2 reptile rooms. This is my main reptile room, and then I also have what I affectionately call the big girl room, with my big breeder females in the other room. So
what do you keep? Okay, sorry. What do you keep? So, okay. What's in the 4-foots?
In the 4-foots, pure super dwarfs, some of the males because they're smaller, and grow outs. So it's mostly reticulated pythons in this room. I do also keep some colubrids. I breed some Mexican black king snakes, cow kings, corn snakes, gray banded king snakes. I do enjoy my colubrids, even though my husband's like, why are we still doing the colubrid thing? They're fun. Like, they're just a fun little side project for me. And they breed in the off season from the reticulated pythons. So it works out.
Oh, I don't blame you at all. Okay, so what's in the 8-foot cages?
In the 8-foot cages, I have got a mainland female ocelot in this cage. Pure super dwarf female, my very first girl. She's about 9 feet. And then I have a pure super dwarf female who's from Kayuwadi locality. So she's actually a bigger girl. She's probably closer to 12 feet because it's a larger island locality. And then in the bottom is my pure Karompa. So, you know, I talked about the pursuit of the Karompa. I now have 2.4 Karompas, and I am the 4th person in the US who's ever actually produced Karompas in the US.
That's awesome.
So that was my like big crowning achievement in 2025 was getting a clutch from my girl.
Oh my gosh. Wait, okay, so what's in the big girl room?
Big girl room. It's going to be my morph crosses. So 50% dwarf, have a 25% super dwarf in there who's, she's 13 feet. I've got a couple 14-foot girls that are 50% dwarf. And then some other percentages of super dwarf and dwarf females.
So what size cages are they in?
They're also in 8x3s.
Oh, and you've got more. There's more on that side.
I do. This whole wall, I have 6-foot cages on this wall, as well as more of the 4-foot cages. And then directly across from me is grow out racks. For
how big is that? How big is that room? Because I'm sitting here. This is technically our guest bedroom. It's a decent sized room, but I am not fitting. There is negative chance I am fitting. Like I said, these are 24s and these are 4-foots.
Yeah.
And I'm already be covering the window to get.
Yeah. So this actually, it used to be his and hers reptile room. My husband had this wall on this side for green tree pythons. And then I was only allowed this side of the room, but this was our upstairs game room. So it was our reptile room when we first moved into this house. And then my stepkid grew up and turned 18 and moved out of the house. And so my husband took that bedroom for his green tree python room. And I was like, thank you. Like, this is, you know, you say it would be so cool to have, but you can't imagine having 2 reptile keepers in the house. Like, it is like the fight for space.
Yeah, it's a competition for space. It's, hey, I really want this, but I can't imagine. Yeah. I absolutely cannot imagine.
So it's reptiles everywhere in this house. I also have some crested geckos and a lychee.
Oh my gosh, you have a whole bunch of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
And who has the tortoises?
That's my husband's project.
Oh, that's his tortoises. It's hard to say. I know he's complained about the tortoises taking up room.
Yeah, he has a table that he built in the middle of his green tree python room. He literally built it in the room. So, like, we're gonna have to
coming out.
We'll have to disassemble it when they eventually move outside. But since we live here in the Houston, Texas area, they can live outside year round once they're big enough that like birds can't pick them up and fly away with them.
husband wants a sulcata so bad. But let me phrase this to why he wants a sulcata. Because he doesn't think he'll have to mow the backyard.
Oh, he's a little misguided there, I think.
That's literally, I said, so you want a goat?
A goat.
A goat. Because
Bless your heart.
I'm pretty sure sulcatas are diggers.
They are. They're very destructive too if
Yeah,
they don't have an appropriate place to dig.
I know. And I said, so not only do we have a dog that eats rocks, given the opportunity, we have a puny fence because it's just a HOA fence, puny little fence. I said, but we're going to have to, you would have to have a big enough one that the bird, because we've got giant birds of prey. Mm-hmm. We've got huge osprey, and we have a bald eagle's nest somewhere. Enough so that, like, when I take the baby outside, I'm like,
yeah,
I'm like hovering because I'm like, God, I don't know how big those birds are. So I was like, so not only do we have that, but I said that thing would be out so fast. It would be out of this yard, and it's not going to eat your grass. So
the local neighborhoods we see all the time, like they post on their Facebook pages, like, oh, Iris got out again, and you'll just see somebody taking a video of a tortoise walking down the street. Like, it's a thing that happens here in Texas regularly.
I know, and that's what I told him. I said, I think if you want something genuinely to eat the grass, we should just get a goat, and the HOA is not going to approve that. So better just keep the lawnmower running.
Yeah, that's his job.
But no, so that's awesome. So do you still have the corn snake and the ball python you started with?
I don't. So the corn snake, she actually did pass. She made it to 15 years old, recently lost her, which was kind of sad. And the ball python, I rehomed to a friend because I decided ball pythons are not for me. Let me just move out the ones that I had. And so I could have more space for retics.
I don't blame you. Ball pythons are also not my thing. Because I also don't like things that just no brain, which I say that the chondros are very brainless.
At least they're pretty.
At least they're pretty, and at least you can see them, and they're not just like in a drawer.
Yeah.
So they're not my thing, but I, of course, now I have ball pythons coming to my house.
Oh, you do?
Yes. Well, so I have 2 little kids, and the whole, like, I love that they are seeing snakes growing up. I love that. My toddler absolutely, like, is in love with all of the snakes. But I have to be very, like, oh no, get back. Don't touch. They'll bite you. Don't touch. Like, I have to do that with everything. And he's gotten to the point where he'll come and he says, oh no, gonna bite you.
Cute.
And especially, like, I hardly ever let him in this room, and he's real interested in the big ones, but of course I'm like, that makes me nervous because I've either got really big snakes, big to me, or ones that I don't think would bite him, but the emeralds have quite damaging teeth. So I just said, you know what, I'm gonna suck it up. I'm gonna get some ball pythons. So now we have some ball pythons coming, so that he can hold and interact with some snakes, and those are his snakes. So they're not mine.
That's totally fair. I also have a 5-year-old, and I said that ball pythons aren't for me, but I did give him one of my 10-year-old ball pythons. As I was moving the rest of them out, I was like, okay, this one's a nice one. We can let you keep it. So he has an enclosure in his room, and he takes care of it, and he takes them out, and
he takes care of it at 5. He does a good job taking care of it at 5.
We have to stay on top of him. But yeah,
that gives me a lot of hope. I ended up getting so I'm actually getting most of them from MJ, but a pair for Owen, and then I'm gonna get a pair for Jamie. And the intention, the idea, and this may not work out, and it may just be in my head, but the idea is that they, by the time that they're old enough to kind of understand stuff, that's a great way to get the birds and the bees conversation out of the way. And they can do that. They can put ball pythons together, and that's their project. And they can be super excited about like eggs coming out. And then I'll take those suckers to the show with me. And by that point, I'm hoping he's old enough to go and he can be like, look, I made this. Or, well, I produced this, bat the little eyes and say, buy this. And then he can put it in his piggy bank. That's the idea. I don't know if that's going to work out like that, but I sure hope so.
I think it's become almost like a given that there's always going to be snake eggs in the house. So I don't think that my son gets super excited about eggs anymore. Our incubators never turn off year round. Right now, I actually have one clutch of Retic eggs that are due to pip any day now. And we did turn off the GTP incubator for the first time in like 8 months. So
yeah,
it's just like a constant thing with having eggs in the house. So I don't know if he would be so excited to do it himself, or if it's just kind of like, yeah, that's mom and dad's thing.
Yeah, and you know what? If he loses interest in it, I guess I got pretty ball pythons at least. That was my caveat. I said I don't want anything brown in this house. I don't want boring ones. I don't want something that's going to sit in. I want those four snakes, and that's it. That's all I want of the ball pythons.
There you go.
So I try not to get like. I'm like you. I would very quickly fall in love with other species, I think. Though I don't know if it would stick. I did when I was postpartum. I had some postpartum issues with my firstborn, and I impulsively got crested geckos.
Did they stick?
No, hell no, no. They're so needy. I literally I like the way that they feel.
They're very cool. Yeah,
I like the way that they feel, but they are so needy.
Every day. You got to feed them every day, mist them every day.
I cleaned, granted, I'm going to have to come in here and clean a couple more bowls in the morning, apparently. Not doing it tonight. But everyone has fresh water. Everyone has clean cages. I fed them. And I am good. I probably will have a whole bunch of poops to clean by the time I get back. But I am good to leave for the weekend and not have to worry about it. The geckos, you freaking can't.
Nope.
You just can't. And so I couldn't do it. I also don't do bugs.
That was always my thing too. Surprisingly though, and I hate cockroaches. Living in the South, like cockroaches are the bane of everybody's existence, right? And I used to just despise them, but I've really kind of grown to like dubia roaches. I know it sounds terrible, but they they'll grow on you.
I couldn't. So we have palmetto bugs.
Yeah, those big giant ones. Yeah.
Okay, but so we don't have those in Arkansas. So when I moved to South Carolina, I literally the first time I saw one, I called my mom when I was panicking. I was like, Mom, there's a roach. There's a roach on the wall. And of course, I'm like, you know what? Death to roach. You've got to die. So I stand up on my sofa. I've got my shoe and I'm like, you're about to die today. And right as I go to hit it, it flies.
Oh my gosh.
Which of course, to me, roaches don't have wings.
No.
So I panic. I fell off the couch. I broke the coffee table. I thought I about broke my neck, sent the dogs scrambling. I called my mom. I said, it flew. It's mutant. It's a mutant roach. What do? It flew. And then of course, somebody the next day, I'm trying to explain. I'm going to get pest strips and stuff. And the next day, someone's like, oh, you had a palmetto bug in your house. I was like, what is that? And they're like, it's a palmetto bug. I was like, it's a roach. They're like, yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But not. And I was like, what do you mean, but not? They're like, you have to have the most immaculate house.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to get palmetto bugs.
They're just every once in a while will come in. They're not living there. They're just coming in, visiting.
But I just couldn't. I was like, great, this is wonderful. So I have had one rescue chameleon that somebody called me and was like, I just found this black lizard on the side of the road.
Aww.
And it's, can you take it? And of course it was a chameleon. So I've had one chameleon that I nursed back to health, and then I had the crested geckos for a short period of time. And I did try the dubias, and I literally was like, I can't do it. And then I was always petrified that crickets were going to get loose in my house.
Oh yeah, I'm not a fan of crickets.
So I was like, this is not for me. I didn't even realize my phobia of, I don't think it's a phobia. I think it's just a strong dislike of bugs ran that deep. So I was like, you know what? I will thaw dead rodents all day long, dead chickens. I don't care. That's fine. But bugs, I don't do. So
the beauty though of the crested geckos is like, they don't have to have the insects. And actually, as they become adults, they tend to not like insects anymore. So you don't have to do those. You can just do the Pangea goop. They love it.
I know. Oh, that was kind of gross too, though.
Yeah, they poop a lot as well.
I'm a weird person when it comes to textures and stuff, and something about the crested gecko food.
It smells really good, though. Like, there's some of them, I'm like, ooh, I can taste that. But don't do it. I haven't done it, but it smells good.
No, I will say I really badly want abronias, specifically the Mexican alligator lizards. I really want them. I think they are so cute, and I want them. And there's like nobody who breeds them in the U.S. I think they all come in like really poorly imported and really terrible shape, so they all just die, have like liver failure or something like that. So I don't know. I want some really bad, but again, bugs and again, lizards, things that need a lot of attention. Yeah. And right now that may just not be for me because I still travel quite a bit. So it's, you know, I have people who come and take care of the reptiles. But I actually have someone who's going to have to come probably this weekend because day 49 for my clutches tomorrow.
Oh no, they're going to be hatching this weekend.
I know. They're totally going to do it while I am gone, which is irritating because I have had several dumb green trees that just like there's scratches everywhere. They're like, I can't get out.
Oh, I hate when that happens and they drown.
I know.
It's heartbreaking.
I said
that happened to a retic this year, a retic egg. It was a first for me. Usually they can get out just fine, but yeah, I had one that drowned and I was like, okay, never again. I'm gonna keep cutting my eggs.
I know, and that's what, you know, it's, I don't know how people are with retics. Obviously ball pythons are not. People go in here cut happy and just cut big giant holes.
Yeah.
But like the chondros are so, and I know Steven has messaged me time he's like, I don't know what I want to do it, but I don't want to do it. It's a double-edged sword. And he, like Steven's a grade A stressor like me, so it gets.
You have no idea.
Imagine living with him. No offense, Steven. I get to like day 53, and he's like panicking. And I'm like, just breathe. But then I'm like, I'm doing the same thing. Yeah. So I can't say anything. But it is one of those things with green trees that you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I've seen people will cut them open and everything dies because you cut them open too early, and then, or they leave the egg. I think that's what Steven had happen. They just shoot out of the egg. Or you don't cut and then they don't get out. They just drown.
It's wild how fragile GTPs are compared to the species that I breed. You know, like I said, that one retic that didn't make it out, like that was shocking to me because they usually are super hardy. I may have cut one of my clutches, I want to say it was like a week early because I was just dying to know if I hit on the morph that I was trying to hit on. And they're fine. Like they just chilled in their eggs until it was time for them to come out. And so they, you know, not a big deal with retics. Whereas I would have killed an entire clutch of GTPs doing that same thing. So, you know, you kind of, you get to know how tolerable your species is that you're breeding.
Yeah, they're not at all. Oh, and I'll say this and I'm going to regret saying it, but whatever. I did the most awful thing day before yesterday. I did the most awful thing, and it's still haunting my dreams.
Oh,
So
boy.
I don't know how hardy retic eggs are, but like I had this year, several of my females kicked out eggs. And I know people, like, some people will say that there's a correlation, like, hey, they know they'll kick them out if they're bad. And some people will say, no, they don't. But I definitely, so like my first clutch, she kicked out half of them. And like half of them went bad. I did not mark them though, so I don't know which ones went bad. And then the second clutch, she kicked out 4, and that's how many were lost. But again, I didn't mark them. So, but there was one that was, this whole time has been just really kind of questionable. I've had to dust mold powder on it like 5 times, and it was hard, and there was mold growing on it, and it had started to stink. And that is usually my go-to, okay, you've started to stink. So I took it out, and it made it to like day 34. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to cut it open and see. I was sitting in the closet like this, ready to cut it open. And I cut it, and I was on the phone with Kaylee, my best friend. And I was like, I cut it open. I was like, there's blood vessels. And she was like, you already cut it.
It's too late now.
It's too late. You already cut it. She said, there's no way, with the way that egg looks, that it's nothing. I pulled the baby out, and it had a heartbeat. I felt so bad. I was sitting here looking, I was like, that was a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But I swear to you, there was mold, like there was little white specks inside the egg.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't have done well anyway, even if it had made it through the whole time. So don't beat yourself up.
I felt so bad. I said, it's got the heartbeat.
We can never really know, what's gonna make it and what's not. I actually almost threw out an egg that was doing that same thing. It kept molding. It was getting wet and windows, and I was like, this is terrible. And it even started to sink in a little bit. And I was like, okay, this thing isn't gonna make it, but I have a little space on this side of the egg box. Let me just put it away from everything else. That thing went the full term, and this was my Carrampa clutch, my pure Carrampas. It went the full term and hatched, and it was perfect and fine. And I was like, how?
That makes sense. I know. I feel so bad for now. I know. Now I'm just going to let the closet stink. I don't even care. I'm just going to let it stink.
If it was stinking though, like that, it's done.
Stinking. It definitely was.
It's done.
But I'm sitting here looking at this little baby, and I was like, you went through the heart of the baby. I couldn't do it. I was happy about it. So anyway, got off on a tangent.
I think our maternal instincts.
I know. I
work against us.
Like I just aborted a baby. Like it just was awful. So
sorry.
I won't be doing that again. I will just let the closet stink. I don't care. They're in my master closet, so
we also have snakes in our master closet, so I totally get it.
That's where that's where I keep all the baby racks. So I just casually took over where Greg's clothes are supposed to go.
Yeah.
Shoved them. I said, you don't need all these clothes. You can't wear all these. But
you don't need it. I need the room.
So you had how many clutches of retics did you have this year? You had an exciting one, because I remember, because you were like, this one's gonna be good, and I was like, I picked this one right here. I just picked one, and I guess that was the good one.
You did really well. So one of the clutches this year was there were some world's firsts in there. Indo Caramel Snow hadn't been made before. And I managed to do Indo Caramel Snow on its own, Indo Caramel Motley Snow, and Indo Caramel Motley Tiger Snow. So I got 3 world's firsts in that clutch, which was pretty exciting. I've never really considered myself one that's like chasing the world's first or anything. But it's fun to do something that's different from what other people are producing. So that one there in the middle,
this one?
Yes, that one. That is one of my world's first. That's the Motley Tiger Indo Caramel Snow.
That is so pretty. That comes out of the egg that big?
Yep. That's a baby that hadn't eaten yet in my hand. And those are 50% dwarf.
That's huge.
Yeah,
is
they're big babies.
Is
They're-
it same?
That one is a different one, but it's a similar morph.
Now, do those go? I don't know how. So, okay, retics, do they change colors like at all, or like what you see is what you get? Because I know when I was looking at the ball python stuff, I was like, oh, look at this. And of course, I'm none the wiser with this. So I'm looking, and they're like, oh, look at this. And they're like, everyone's like, you don't want that. That has pastel in it. That's bad.
Brown out.
Yeah, it'll fade or whatever. And I was like, but it looks so cool now. Why? Why does it change colors? I didn't know they did that.
So retics don't much, but there will be some small subtle changes over time. And actually, they tend to get prettier with age, in my opinion. It depends on the morph. There are some morphs like orange ghost stripe, which is super bright and orange as babies, and it tends to brown a little bit more with age. But most of them, like the snows, they get brighter and more contrast with age, which is really pretty.
I wanted to look up. You said orange ghost stripe. I wanted to look it up.
Ghost stripe. I have one orange ghost stripe male. He's one of my only, I want to say, 3 mainland retics that I have.
So this is this right here.
Yeah, that one in the top left.
Is this a big one?
That one's got something else in it too. It's orange ghost stripe, probably tiger.
Oh, it says purple orange ghost stripe.
Oh, it's purple as well. So it's an albino orange ghost stripe. So that one will stay more orange because it has the albino gene.
Okay. This is really pretty though. Like, I will admit, like, I have always loved the colors of ball pythons and retics because they are just like, they're gorgeous. What is that? Oh, it says it, I guess. Sorry. Okay, so is the one that's more brown is that what a orange ghost stripe looks like?
So the one in the middle is not an orange ghost stripe. That one is some kind of albino. The orange ghost stripe is the one that's on the kind of the bottom.
Yeah, the more browner one.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. So that baby that you hatched out, the one that's it's like a pastel white almost on top, and then like a little yellow, like it'll stay that.
It'll get prettier. The purples will kind of deepen, and the kind of orangey tannish colors will become more of like a lemony yellow. So it'll be really pretty as it ages.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. I actually had a number of clutches this year. I ended up with 6 clutches. 2 of them are still in the incubator. So it was a very successful season.
Now, wait, they are huge, like, not, I get it, not huge snakes, but they have quite a few.
Yeah.
How many do they normally have?
So it depends on the snake. So I do have some really tiny pure super dwarf females. She only gave me, I want to say 12 eggs. So pretty small clutch. Whereas my 14-foot girls, I got 36 and 38 eggs from each of them this year.
Oh my
So
God.
they can have quite a few more. And those, they're good size eggs. They're like a baseball size egg, or bigger than a baseball even.
So how many babies will you / do you have this year?
So it's a hard thing to put a number on, Carly, because I'm like, as things are hatching, like there are animals going out as well. So it's kind of like this constant flux.
Well, how many did you / will you have hatched this year? I guess, is it better?
How many will I have hatched? Oh, I don't know. It's over 100.
Oh my gosh. Now, are these, I cannot imagine. I know MJ had like 76 and 76 baby chondros, and I would be ripping my eyelashes out one by one if that was me, because I do not want that. I can't even imagine that with a baby and a toddler in the house. Are retics as hard to start?
It depends on the clutch. So the pure Carambas took to eating like that. And actually, I travel quite a bit for work. So Stephen picks up the slack for me regularly. The Karumpa Clutch managed to have their first shed while I was out of town for the week. And so he got them started for me. And, you know, being a GTP guy, he just did it perfectly. So chef's kiss to my husband. Like yeah,
because we're used to the difficultness.
Yeah. But I had one other clutch that was super simple to get started. And I've had 2 this season that have drove me bonkers, but I'm also not willing to sit there like a chondro keeper and try with one baby for 30 minutes. Like,
okay,
I don't have the patience for that. And they are more robust than a GTP baby. So if they have to starve for a little bit, they'll be okay. Like a GTP baby isn't going to make it very long without a meal. Whereas these things, they're hatched out, they're beefy. I mean, they've got these beefy egg yolk tummies. Like, they're fine. I have one that's now 2 months that hasn't had a meal and it's still fine, like perfectly healthy. It just doesn't want to eat.
Gosh.
And I'm like, fine.
Yeah, I get you on the baby chondros because I have one that I've been calling PETA for a pain in the ass. And it has been a pain this whole time. It is the worst one out of the clutch, and it's the nastiest one out of the clutch. That's what I don't understand. This thing's like psychopath striking, but it's like whacking everywhere except for the pinky. So those hatched out back in like May, and it just now took. I don't think it was May. I think that was. I think I paired those animals in May, so that's definitely not May. They're not that old, but it just now took. Last night it took the pinky without me having to kind of stick in its face. It took and it gave a real good wrap, and I just sat there just ever so still.
Did it just bring a tear to your eye? Like it's.
Oh, it put my feet to sleep. I sat there. I was like, I gotta move. I can't feel my toes. And that's not even the worst because it's definitely I had to force feed it for a while, and then we got to the point where I could assist feed, and I would stick, which of course it's wrapped around my fingers as soon as I go to stick something in its mouth, and then I'm literally I used a paper towel roll to like prop my arm up because it was hanging on my finger, and I'm just sitting there like this. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Please hurry up with this. And it's just sitting there.
The things chondro keepers do, nope, I wouldn't have the patience for it.
I barely have the patience for it. That's what all of mine. So I've got 11 babies right now from last year. The ones that are still in like the baby rack and stuff like that. So I've got 11 from last year. And I had been feeding, I would, feed like 3 one day, 4 the next day, 4 the next day. And I fed them all last night, and it took so long. I was like, y'all need to all get on the same page because I'm about to have more babies coming up behind you. And I don't want to be here for hours on end. And I always have best luck at nighttime. So is that the same, or will you just takes whenever?
I usually feed most of the retics in the evening. So that's been pretty consistent. But no, I definitely understand the hours and hours of work that it takes for the chondros. That's my husband's thing. He spends just hours feeding those things. But
you officially have one that's like yours, don't you?
I do. Her name is Pixel, or her name is Pixel, though Steven says he thinks it's going to be a boy. I'm like, great. But he's going to look cool one way or the other. So Steven's, one of his females has always been my favorite, Europa. She's a Francis Catan production, and she's just so beautiful. She's so friendly. I have to a lot of times deal with them if they have like a stuck shed or something, because guess who's the one who's willing to take bites in the family?
That's funny. I think he said that before once to me. I think that he has said that.
So anyway, I deal with them a lot, and I've always just adored Europa. So I told him when she has her first clutch, I am going to have one of those babies. And he says, okay, I won't charge you $8,000 for one of them. And I said, you're so sweet, honey. Thank you.
How kind of him.
Yeah.
I still have a baby sitting at y'all's house that needs to come to my house.
Well, we can send it over. We'll send it over.
I know. Well, I need to finish paying Stephen. Yeah, I'm excited for those. Again, if it wasn't for the fact that I don't know where I would put it, and I don't want to start another project, I'd say we could just put 2 babies, because those babies that you hatched last are just freaking stunning. I had one, let me see. There was one, and I meant to save it, and I didn't save it. But there was one that I had seen on, I actually think I saw it on your Facebook, that I was like, this is my freaking favorite ever.
The fun thing about the Retic babies is that, like, they come out of the egg pretty confident. And if you spend time with them every day, like, you'll see little personalities start to emerge. And I really enjoy, like, I always name my clutches. So I have a Marvel clutch, which is all Marvel names from this last season. I have a tree clutch, which is, different names of trees. Oh, that's Pepper. She was from my Pepper clutch. She also was a world's first. So she's an Orange Glow Snow Motley GC that I produced in 25. So she's a year old now.
She is my absolute favorite.
She's gorgeous. She's just right here in front of me too.
I love it. Something about the solid and then the speckling down the back, like in the solid line. I know that people, my hope is to one day have one, but the basins, have you seen the HQ stripe basins where they're all green and then they just have one solid long stripe down the back? There's no barbs, there's no diamonds. It's just a solid.
I haven't seen that. That's so interesting.
Let me see if I can pull one up to show you. And that didn't bring up anything but a building. I love those, and there's a lot of people in the industry who don't love them. And it's because they don't have a lot of color to them.
So is that a locality thing? Is that a morph thing? What makes the stripe?
I think it's just breeding. I of course can't pull it up. I don't even know where I would find it, but they're literally just a solidly green emerald tree boa that just has one solid stripe all the way down it of white. And I think it is so cool to see that uninterrupted stripe. From my understanding, it's a line bred thing. From the guys, he's in Europe somewhere. I don't want to butcher it and say that he's in Germany or something like that, but I love it. We don't have, I think there's only 2 in the US, and I think the guy that has one of them for sure he's definitely more someone who likes a lot of white. So he's like, I'm not breeding that. So I wish he would, though.
That's one of the nice things about the species that you keep, though, is you can still bring imports into the US, whereas retics are on, the Lacey Act. So there's no more retics that can come into the US, period. So what we've got here is it. So it's fun to see what people across the pond are producing in retics. And it's if we don't have that morph here, we're just not going to.
Yeah, I get that. Though I will say, I'm not going to talk about it tonight, but I did learn a hard lesson about bringing, it didn't pan out. I have some animals from Switzerland and some animals from Germany, and some of those did not pan out very well. Yeah. So I'm sure that's a conversation for a whole different episode. But no, yeah, I would love to. There's definitely some things that we can import and some things that we can't. The basins, I guess, are a little bit like that because you can't get wild populations of it. But I guess I hadn't thought about the retics not being able to bring anything in.
Nope. Retics, Burmese pythons, anacondas, rock pythons, all of those things are banned from importation in the U.S.
So so even like from Canada?
I think so. We can send out to Canada, but we cannot bring in from Canada. So export is allowed, but import is not.
There's so many things, and I get it. Poor Florida. Okay.
The Everglades. Yeah.
But also, I feel like that is such just a weird situation. You know, that's like they banned tegus here. What the heck is a tegu going to do in the winter?
Right.
We've had snow, oddly enough, we've had snow these past 2 winters. So there are some things that I'm just like, what
purpose does it serve?
What purpose does banning them serve? Like, what do you think is going to happen? But I get it. Everyone's spooked because of the whole thing with Florida, but Florida is a special situation. I mean, I literally remember when we were having Snowmageddon, y'all got a ton of snow, and there was like snow and cold everywhere. And then Florida's just down here chilling in the 70s.
Yeah. You guys have your own climate. It's a special thing.
Yeah. So I get it, but I don't actually know. I guess I probably should know what all is banned in South Carolina.
You can have retics in South Carolina. You cannot have retics in Florida.
No.
There's actually probably 5 or 6 states in the U.S. that have banned retics. One of my favorite, which I think is just hilarious, is Montana, because what is a retic going to do when it gets out in Montana? Like,
something happened. Either somebody died a terrible death, or I don't know.
It's a mystery to me. Like some states, like New York, they tend to have pretty strict laws. Like you can't have them there. Okay, fine. But yeah, Montana.
What? I don't know. There are so many things that I question. And I guess I get it. You know, the retics are definitely painted in, I feel like, a bad light just because they're big. And I feel like that's the ones, there's always this picture circle, and I think it's retics. I'm pretty sure it's retics. It might be a combination of retics and burms, but you've probably seen it. There's this picture of this door, and there's either retics or burms that are all standing up on the door, and it's like would you open this door for
Classic.
$1 million? It's like, yeah, slap them puppies out of the way, pick them up and move them. So, but those are the things that happen, and like the nightmarish things that people are like, and they're dangerous, deadly snakes, and they'll eat you. And that story circle around of this lady that had a reticulated python that used to sleep in the bed with her, and it was sizing her up to eat her.
The silliest thing ever.
Oh, I know. People are gonna say the most ridiculous things, but I feel like it's retics and burms that get that bad light.
And the fact remains, they are a potentially dangerous animal. So they really so I'm a seller of retics. So one of the things that's important to me is when I'm talking to a potential customer to understand where they're at in their reptile keeping journey. I'm not one that will say, oh no, don't ever get a retic as a first reptile, but I need to know what level of commitment they have to that animal and to understanding that animal, and to properly housing that animal, properly feeding that animal, because they can be dangerous, and they deserve respect for what they are. I have all of my cages locked there because they can figure out how to open doors. And they're smart enough that if they figure out how to get out once, they'll do it again. So, it's one of those things that, yes, we have these animals in our house and we absolutely love them, but we also respect them, and we acknowledge that they do have potential to do harm if we aren't taking proper precautions and care.
I feel like argument too, though, lasts for almost any animal.
It's true. Anything with a mouth can bite.
We've got my husband has a big dog that doesn't have, a ball python has more thoughts in its brain than that dog does. But that's a 80-pound dog with
Right.
with canines. So anything could just up and
Right. I think it's
decide to, you know.
you need to learn how to understand your animal and read your animals. You know, rarely have I gotten myself into a situation where I felt afraid with any of my animals, because I mean, even when I was working at the zoo with much larger constrictors, like if you know how to read them and understand them, you're not going to be in a dangerous situation. Yes, sometimes they, you know, might think that you're food, but you need to be aware of that before they are thinking it. So,
I know. I'm sure you've seen it. There's this horrible video. I don't know if it's a boa or a retic, of this lady that has got this large snake in this glass enclosure, and it's very obvious that that snake is like
thinking food because it's coming towards her.
And she opens it and she's like, "Come here," and that snake latches on and grabs a hold of her. And I literally was, when I first saw that video, I was like, "You're not going to open that, right?"
She was not paying attention to her animal's cues. And that was, you know, that's the other thing with retics, is we always advocate for hook training. Since they are smart, they very quickly learn that if I put the hook and just touch their face, that means this is handling time. This isn't eating time. And you can actually see their bodies like physically relax after they get that tap. You know, when the cage glass first opens, they do this. And you can tell that they're heightened and their muscles are kind of contracted. I tap them and they kind of like, oh, okay. And then I can reach in and pull them out. Some of them are.
The scrubs are very smart too. Most of these that I have behind me, with the exclusion of this one and the one down here,
me too.
they will, like, you can go in, like I've got one, the one that's up here is my largest one. She needs to be upgraded like ASAP. And even her, like she was hanging her head out of her little box the other day. And I was like, "Listen, if you don't want to go back in your box, that's fine. Chill. I need to clean." So, but she just didn't do anything. So it's definitely one of those situations where I can see, I feel like probably 90%, would you say 90% of the times that people find themselves in bad situations with big snakes, that it is purely their fault, that they misread the situation?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
That's kind of what I figured. Yeah. I mean, even the scrubs, you know, I was talking to Pat. I was talking to Pat the other day, and I was talking about how the Moluccans that I have, I think are a pair, but when I put the male in with the female, the female was like crawling all over him. And that was confusing. The male is definitely a male, but this one I don't know. This one I kind of wonder. So, you know, he told me, he was like, "You know, you're just gonna have to sex them." And he said, "But you're gonna need like 3 people to do that." Because they're very long, and he said they can hurt your fingers. They can absolutely hurt your fingers. And I can understand how that would happen. I mean, they're skinny. I can't imagine. I think retics are also skinny, but they're still girthier.
Yeah, they're more slender than, you know, like a Burmese python, but I mean, some of my big females, they're still pretty hefty, especially once they get to starting to build follicles. Like some of those girls start hauling them out, and I'm like, "Oh, this is a workout, sister." Like,
do you ultrasound yours for follicles?
I don't. What I do is I palpate. So I will
let them really well, can't you?
You know, it depends. Some of the really strong girls, their muscles are so strong that they won't let me feel it. But if I can get them to a point where they're relaxed enough as they're going into their cage, then I can. The smaller ones are much easier than the really large girls, because even some of them, like, just to get my hands around them, it's challenging.
That's so big. I will admit, I love a big chunky snake. Though I will say, I think if I was going to get anything that was that big, I would get a like a blood python. That's when I go to Bill's in September. That's my, like, everyone is always like, "Let me see the chondros." I'm like, "Let me see the chunkies. Let me see the chunks. I want to see them." And I'm like, "Bill, can I go look at the blood pythons?"
I don't understand them as much. Like their body language is hard to read to me.
It is very hard to read. The whole time I'm like,
yeah, are you gonna just like jump up suddenly and get me? Like,
I know, but they're so chunky.
they are cute.
It's just so, you know, something about it is so cute. But I would love one of them. And then I think it's is it cow? Is that what
there's cow retics?
Yes, I think that's what it is. The ones that are all speckly.
Yeah, they start as pure white babies too.
If I was ever going to get one, I would do that. But again, I'm somebody that doesn't have the ability to just, which is with the ball pythons, we got, we're getting some pairs because I'm not somebody who has the ability to just get something that I'm not working,
Because I have one rat snake, one steps or Dion's rat snake that I'm not going to get a pair for. I'm proud of myself for this because my husband still thinks I'm trying to find a male and I'm not.
Why does he think that?
Because he thinks I'm the same as you. Like I can't just have one. Like if we're going
it's called ambition. It is called ambition.
Yes. So I'm not though. I'm gonna have just my one, and like I'm proud of it. It's gonna be my token one of a species.
Well, that's cool. I think if we had more space, I would be less. Okay, I can't do that. Like I would definitely be more. I'm not a colubrid fan. I don't like to be peed on.
Yeah, the babies can sometimes be that way. They get really used to you, though. I mean, I've produced several clutches of king snakes and corn snakes, and it's usually just the first one or two handlings that they'll do that, and then they get used to you. I mean, because I go through every morning, I wake up, 2 hours before I have to be to work, just to go through all of my babies and all of my animals. And, so every day those colubrid babies are getting picked up and they just get used to it and they stop peeing on you at a
I had a roommate that had a Mexican black king snake. And I was like, this is so cool. That's one thing about me. I love a pitch black snake and I love a pure white snake. I absolutely love it. Of course, I own things that don't go pitch black or pure white. But that thing just wanted to constantly eat itself. You handled another snake, it's going to eat you. It smells itself, it's going to eat you. It tries to eat itself. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, some of them aren't super smart. It's really fun when it comes to pairing king snakes up too.
I would be freaking out. I already do that with the chondros. I have one female that is notorious for going after the males.
Yeah. You can't leave them alone. Like,
no,
and I have to sit there and watch.
I have to cover their cage because I still have other adults. I still have other animals in that room. So I have to go in there and feed, when they're together, and it's nonstop. All it takes is the male to move his head. Boom. She's smacked him.
I actually have had that happen with retics as well, which is pretty scary when you end up with a ball of retic that's like this big.
How the hell do you even get them apart?
I keep Listerine in the room, and I just sprayed them, both of them, I went in there just freaking out because, again, I had to feed the other animals that were in the room, and I was like, oh, what do we do? So fly the cage open and start spraying, and eventually she let go. She didn't let go right away, and the poor male is just, writhing, help.
I have seen, which maybe it's not as big as a thing with retics, because I don't actually know how big retic teeth are. I mean, I imagine that they're probably pretty big because they're big snakes. Yeah. But I know, I've had friends who have lost green trees because a female might grab the male and just happens, their teeth are so long, they just happen to get it in the right spot that it goes between a rib and punctures along. So, I don't.
I have not seen that happen, but I have seen some pretty bad slashes and animals torn open by each other.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can't imagine. I think the last time that female went after a male, they fell in the water bowl. And that, lucky. that kind of just took care of it. Like the minute they were both in the water, they were like,
What's
you
going
know.
on?
But I can also, like, I went to yank them pretty fast because I am not, it wouldn't surprise me to watch a green tree drown itself trying to attack something in the water bowl.
Super smart.
They're
Smooth
so
brain.
smart. They're so smart. So you already had the retics when you and Steven met.
Yes.
Okay, I need to know, not to like, sorry, Steven, get your personal life out there, but I need to know how that interaction went, because I know for me, before me and my husband met, like I had snakes and we went on to like, I think we had been dating for like 2 solid months before I even mentioned this. I even mentioned, I was like, hey, so I have snakes at my house, like quite a few. And he's like, oh, I like snakes. I was like, really? You do?
Thank God.
He's like, yes, because there were definitely dates that I was on that people were like, I don't do no snakes. I be shooting snakes out in my backyard.
Yeah. Bye. So we were actually both moderators of a reptile group, which is how we met. He lived in California at the time. I'm here in Texas. We started talking because we were moderating this group together. And next thing you know, he's packing up and moving from California over to Texas to be with me.
That's awesome.
And then we have our beautiful son together. So it's great.
I thought you were going to tell me this whole story about how y'all like met and went out on a date. And it's like, oh, I have snakes. Oh, no, wait, me too. Like, that would be so cool. And it's like, oh, but my snakes are bigger than yours.
Yeah. Well, he knows that, I'm the one who's got bigger balls in the family. I shouldn't say that.
I was thinking it though. Sorry, Steven.
To be fair though, like he doesn't like to get bitten. Granted, I'm not like excited to get bit every day, but it doesn't bother me. I get bit by babies
to be bit
so often that it doesn't faze me at all. And so
that's me too. Because I literally, I'm gonna hate on him again, but bless Alex Warren. Have you seen his videos pulling eggs and he's got like oven mitts on?
It cracks me up that it's the guys that are most afraid.
I'm like, why do you have oven mitts? Like, what are you doing?
I've seen some other guys who are pulling eggs from chondros that are like using a hook, and it's like, you're just agitating her. Just go in and grab her, and she'll be fine.
That's the easiest way don't get me wrong, I will wear something like this where like my arms are mostly covered. And I usually will do this because one thing I've noticed is if you come at them with a heat signature, way more likely to snap at you. But I open up that egg box and I'm like, whoop! I like immediately put my hand right over top of them.
Yep.
And what are they going to do? Bite me from a short distance?
Nope. Not at all.
They're not going to do that.
We've got egg pulling down to a science. It's always known that I'm going to pull the female off. And then he will separate eggs, whether it's his clutch or my clutch, doesn't matter. It's me pulling the female, him separating eggs, me candling and putting them in the box. Like that's just how we roll. And we're so efficient at it these days. Like
I bet.
It's just done like that.
I've definitely shown Greg, my husband, the like ropes to stuff and been like, okay, well, if this ever happens, do you think that you could do it? And he's like, yeah, I totally could. But this is coming from a man that I can't convince to put his shoes on the shoe rack because he forgets. So I would just opt to do it myself. So because Steven does that stuff, I would definitely have more confidence in somebody like Steven. So
he's definitely the more OCD of the two of us. And it's fair though too, because green tree pythons, there's inherently more risk with disease and all of that. So he has a certain order of how he deals with his animals. And I frankly, unless he asks me to help with one of them, I don't ever deal with his animals, period. So, if he's like, I've got so-and-so in a soap box, would you go finish helping them shed later today? Cool. Got that. Yes, Captain. But I'm not gonna go mess with any of his animals out of the norm, because that would just throw off the whole like feng shui thing going on. Whereas with my animals, you know, I'm kind of like, okay, cleaning this one, I'm gonna go over here, I'm gonna look at this one, you know, like it's just not as hospital like, or like you know, military.
Yeah, I get that. Trust me, it's definitely. I'm over here. I got like isopropyl in a spray bottle. I've got, you know, chlorhexidine in a spray bottle. I've got Termex spread around everywhere. I've got alcohol wipes, and I'm constantly doing something. So I can kind of see how, you know, you've got someone up there who is just, I mean, is wants to up in that corner.
Up here?
No, that I'm pointing at the screen like you can see. Yeah, that one right there.
Oh, yeah, that's Miss Sandy. She actually has a rat that's thawing in the room, so she knows it.
Oh, she knows.
She knows it's dinner time here soon. She gave me a beautiful clutch of eggs this year.
All of those still eat rats, or are you moved on to rabbits?
No, the 12-footer here and even my 9-footer, they eat rabbits or pigs.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine.
I have a local rabbit hookup though, so it's quite easy to get rabbits.
You have a local pig hookup?
He's not local, but I have somebody who brings me pigs every 6 months or so.
I can imagine. Like, that was one thing when I got the scrubs that I was like, golly, I said these things are eating large rats, and these large rats are expensive. It's like freaking $30 for a thing of 4. And I'm like, Jesus, those are big meals. And then I get so mad when they lose them and they waste them. And I'm like, you wasted so much money. You know that? But not really. I'm just being, I can't imagine. What do rabbits and pigs cost?
Usually it depends. $2 to $4 a pound, typically.
That's a lot. It's a lot though.
You know, to feed the whole collection, it's quite expensive. But that's kind of
start breeding.
That's kind of why I do breed, is to help support the collection. So
I mean, you might as well start breeding like rabbits and pigs.
Oh no.
They're kind of useful. They eat everything. If you ever needed to get rid of something, they eat it all.
The one thing I cannot do is dispatch a rabbit. Like I couldn't. I know myself. I could not do it. And even with like rodents, I would struggle to do the euthanasia part. Like, yeah. I just know myself. It's not.
I have a hard time with it too. I had up until recently a basin that just would not eat anything other than live, and it never failed. I would go pick up a live African soft fur, and they always just gave me the cutest ones. Like, they couldn't give me just a plain one. They had to give me the ones that are like all polka dotted and speckly, and I'm like, oh, this sucks. So I can't imagine. I don't even, if I have to euthanize a snake, I don't even do it. I take it to the vet.
Right. Yeah.
So I know people who are like, yep, throw them in the freezer, and I'm like, please don't do that. That's
yeah, that's not humane. That I will say that is the one thing I can't do that my husband can do. Like, if there's babies that need to be cold because they're deformed or whatever, I can't do it. I can't. And so that is the one thing he takes care of, whether it's mine or his.
I am too soft-hearted. Like I told you, I'm sitting here. I accidentally I thought it was a bad egg, and it wasn't a bad egg. I accidentally did that, and I still sit here and like, the baby's heart was beating.
I know, it's horrible.
I can't imagine doing it with anything else.
So women are tough as nails. We can take the bites and we could do the hard things, but when it comes to unaliving something, it's a no-go.
Don't ask me to do it. So our Retic eggs, when we're we're talking about culling things, is it often to get like deformities and stuff like that with Retics?
I had deformities in 1 out of the 4 clutches that I've hatched so far this year. And it was just like 1 or 2 animals. It wasn't most of the clutch.
That's not bad, because I mean, I feel like it's fairly common with chondros that you're getting deformities. I had one that its mouth. The bottom jaw was like way out, and the top jaw was just completely curled under last year. And I was like, you just a little fucked up. So like I had one, and then obviously, you know, Stephen posted
Curly tails, yeah.
curly-tailed one, which I think is so cute, but I understand the, you know, you don't want that kind of thing. So I just feel like it's a very common thing with chondros, and it's definitely not something that's talked about as much with like other species. But that might come down to the fact that they're used, you know, we talk about them being more hardy.
That's true, but I think it does happen with any species, because I've had deformities happen with corn snakes. I've had deformities happen with king snakes. Like, I think in a numbers game, you know, there's going to be a small percentage that there's going to be things that went wrong.
But I've never seen a two-headed chondro.
I have not. We have never hatched anything two-headed here in this house.
No, I always see people. I've never even hatched twins.
We've had a couple twins. I've had some twin retics. Mm-hmm.
You think it's maybe more common in retics too?
Not common. I think it happens, you know, like lightning strikes. I don't know. Every once in a while. I should say that, but one of my clutches had 2 sets of twins in it last year.
2 sets of twins.
The thing is like they don't do well.
Oh, they're tiny.
Yeah, they tend to not thrive. I did lose all of those twins from those 2 sets last year. I had twins also in my MBKs last year as well, but the twins both made it. I never even knew which one was the other twin, but I had 12 eggs, and then there was 13 snakes in the box. I was like, something's not mapping here. And one of them was really small, and that really small one made it just perfectly fine. Oh, the Maine Coon is up here now.
I had, so one of my clutches that's in the incubator now, it's the second clutch. They're very oddly long eggs for chondros. And even, you know, Greg sat there and he was like, why are those so big? Oh my God. I love those. But even Greg was like, why is it so big? And I was like, I don't know. He said, do snakes have twins? And I was like, yes. He's like, oh, maybe they're all twins. I was like, please do not wish that on me.
That would be so much.
That would be awful. I was like, the A, not possible. B, please don't wish that. I don't even want 1 set.
Yeah.
I don't even want 1, because I have never lost a green tree baby after it has hatched. I have yet to have one that like
fails to thrive.
Because I'm stubborn. I'm stubborn, and I will probably just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. So I hope it's not a kitty. That's a cat. That's such a cat thing.
He's my little reptile room helper. He's always up here when I'm cleaning and hanging out. And he also,
now, did the snakes eyeball him? Because the scrubs will eyeball the heck out of the corgi.
If he runs into the room suddenly, I have had them hit the glass because it was a movement thing. But usually when he's just hanging around, like, they don't seem to care.
Okay. So. Well, that's better, but
yeah. And if I'm taking out a big animal, I'm making sure he's not in the room.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. I don't even let the corgi in. And I've never had there's only been one time ever that we have had a snake live in the house, and I did not do it. It was not me. I was like, I think it was like literally maybe a week and a half after we had my youngest, and I had just woken up from a nap. You know, postpartum hard. I had just woken up from a nap, and I went in my reptile room, these were all still downstairs before I had moved them. And I was like, were you cleaning this cage in here? He was like, yes, I was. It was a very big stink in there. And I was like, okay. How long ago did you clean this cage in here?
No.
And he was like, I don't know, maybe about like an hour ago. And I was like, oh. I was like, did you put her somewhere when you were cleaning? And he was like, oh, no, she's in there. She let me clean. And I was like,
oh.
I was like, she's not in there now.
Yikes.
Not in. He was like, what? And of course, like my mother-in-law, who is downstairs, my mother-in-law was here.
Oh no.
Like, she's like, you have a snake loose? And I was like, yeah.
What
Yeah.
species was it?
The scrub.
Oh,
the big female scrub up here. And I was like, so where is she, Greg? And luckily, she had not gone far, but she was about to go back behind the wall of cages that I have downstairs. So it would have been a nightmare because she would have unplugged every single cord. It would have been a very long night putting that back together. But thank God. But that's never that like.
He's such a menace.
I love him. Oh my gosh. I don't want a cat. I do not want a cat.
Dog like cat. He's just like, I love you, Mom. It's great.
Oh, I love them, but I can't. We don't even have room for a cat. That's how full this house is.
We're pretty full here too. Your tail is so fluffy, buddy.
So how many snakes do you have?
I plead the fifth.
You plead the fifth. Do you even know?
I know how many permanent residents I have, but I don't know how many babies are here at the moment. Like I said, I shipped some out today. I don't.
How many permanent?
36 permanent retics.
36?
Yeah.
I was going to say, it sounded 6 for a minute. I know good well it's not 6.
36.
36. And then Steven has, I don't think Steven has that many permanent.
He's got a lot. He started holding on to whole clutches, and that's
holdbacks. Yeah,
whole clutches of holdbacks. All of the void babies aren't going
to Dave D that shit. Dave D it by all means. I love the void. By the way,
she's beautiful. She's a really exceptional animal for sure.
She goes hormonal. Did she stay hormonal?
She has. Yeah, she's super blue and black. This cat is just a menace.
I freaking love it. Is he?
What?
A black smoke.
He's actually a blue classic.
Blue classic. I guessed. I have heard somebody turn the coin, put the coin. I've heard someone say black smoke before.
The black smokes are really pretty. That white undercoat that they get. But he's a blue. He's
oh my gosh, he is like all hanging out. And is he fully grown?
No, he's only a year old, so he's still growing.
Oh my gosh.
He's just a baby. He's just purring. He's so happy right now.
So you got big cats, big snakes.
Big cats and big snakes. That is the way of life here.
You should get Great Danes or something. Irish Wolf.
I had Great Danes actually years ago.
So you were just a fan
of big animals.
Of the big things. Yeah. Of the big things.
That's about right. Where are you going, buddy?
I imagine that it is. Are there a lot of women in retic stuff?
There's more than you realize. There's not a lot, but there's more than people realize because we don't create a lot of drama. Usually the drama kind of circles around the guys, and so
it does. It
people don't notice that we're even here.
No, it blows my mind the amount of like. I had somebody one time. They were like, I can see why there's not a lot of women in the chondro hobby, and I was like,
there are.
Why? But why is there not? What is your reason for not being? They're like, well, I imagine women would be very dramatic about it. And I was like,
not at all.
What? I was like, it's the men that are dramatic.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's the men that don't want to get bit.
Yeah.
Women don't care. Personally, once you go through childbirth, I'm sorry. What's a few teeth?
Right.
That's just a Tuesday. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to get bit by these big scrubs, and I don't want to get bit by the big emeralds. But I also really don't get bit that often.
Babies are sometimes bitey. Sometimes too, I'll do something stupid, and it's like, okay, that was on me.
Oh, I know. I got in and was cleaning one of the chondros the other day, and I don't know why. She was definitely asleep, but I shouldn't have even done what I did. There was like a poop or pee in the corner, and I was trying to get it out of the silicone. And I stuck my whole head in there, and all of a sudden I felt whoop.
She hit you on the head.
On the head. I pulled back and I said, "She bite me on the head."
Maybe you shouldn't have done that.
I know. I was like, that's really stupid of me to put my whole head in there.
the bad bites that I've had were my fault. Like grabbing the door and sliding the door with my hand rather than the hook when I could see that they were clearly in food mode. Like that was dumb. Got bit by my son's ball python the other night because I went to feed it and I was in a hurry and it was under its hide and I was annoyed. So I reached in to lift up the hide and it bit my hand. I was like, that was really dumb. But
yeah, it's always the dumb mistakes, I guess, that get me bit. But
yeah,
you know, I feel like that's why I would love to own some venomous stuff and I cannot. Because that's also a no from the husband. But I would love to. But at the same time, like I definitely get going. I will say that is not the first time I've been bit on the head.
Didn't learn from the first time.
Not the first time. Because I have definitely like bending down in it's always bending down. I have had one face bite. Yeah, it hit me right here. And let me tell you, that hurt. And that's just a snake that was very difficult to deal with. She is the one that I lost most recently because she broke her jaw.
How?
Honestly, we don't know. I went in my room, I fed, and I hold by the tail because I don't like when they touch the tongs. The sound, it's nails on chalkboard, and I'm always nervous that they're gonna like puncture something. So she took the rat. She didn't like fall to the ground. I mean, I literally remember moving her over because I was like, you're gonna fall and you're gonna drop the rat in your water bowl. So I fed, left, came in the next morning, the rat was on the floor, half squeezed, and I was like, that's very weird. And then she was facing away from me. I was like, you look weird. So I got her out, and her face, I mean, was just stuck open. The whole thing was completely, this part right here was, I ended up taking her to the vet, and we had x-rays and a CT. We tried to do a CT, and it was completely twisted and broken. And they were like, we could do surgery, but we're talking like bones, screws, and taping her mouth shut. And I was like, we're not going to do that. So
that's horrible. I'm so
sorry. I don't have any idea what, it's awful. I don't have any idea what happened. So when I went in to clean her cage, right at the like bottom part right here, there was a little smudgy wet spot. So the only thing I can come up with is that she had let go of the rat, probably still had it in her coils, had let go of it. And then when I walked by to turn the lamp off, or when Greg walked by to lock the front door because it's in my office, she saw the movement and hit the cage. That's the only thing I can think of.
Wow.
Because I can't think of anything else.
That's so wild.
It is. It's very wild, but it is. Yeah. So it's no more face bites, I guess, for me. Because
that's the one thing I am very cautious of, because I do not want to get bit by one of these big animals on the face.
Oh, can you imagine? I cannot imagine taking. The bites to the face don't, like, they catch. The skin on the face, I think, is a lot tougher than people think it is, and it catches, so it pulls, and then it bleeds badly. I literally was doing a podcast, I think, I don't remember, I think it was it was a different podcast. It wasn't Trap Talk, and I literally had to like put something, like a little piece of Band-Aid on it. I was like, y'all, I can't take this off. I mean, I might can now, but I can't take this off. So
just bleed. Ugh.
Have you had bad bites with the Retics?
Yeah, I had to get stitches in my hand. It was an animal at the zoo that I was working at. I misread the situation and got stubborn. I knew the animal was in a bad mood, and I was like, nope, you're going in the cage anyway. And
snakes have bad moods. I don't care.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, snakes have bad moods.
He was like a 9-foot retic, and he just threw a coil over my arm, held me still, and he turned around and grabbed my hand, and then he rolled.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And so it ripped my finger open. I had to get stitches in my finger.
Oh my
I
gosh.
still have a scar from it.
Snakes have bad moods. This one right here, this one is moody. This is one of my males. He's very moody.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't imagine having bigger snakes with bad moods.
You know, and what I should have done is just dropped him when I realized he was having a bad mood and wasn't having.
You had to get him in a cage, right?
I got stubborn. I was like, no, you're going to go in the cage, because I was moving him from a cleaning bin into his cage, and he was like, no, I'm not doing it. He was bumping me and like twisting, and I said, yes, you're going in the cage. And I tried to get him to go in, and he said, no, I'm really not. And he threw that coil over me.
That's so wild. I feel like snakes are very eager usually to go back in their cages.
Yeah, he was a testy kind of male, so I don't know if he just wanted to be out or what, but he was not fun to deal with.
So you said you've got 2 more clutches in the incubator.
2 more. One that is on day 75. They tend to hit between 75 and 85 days, so any day now.
I didn't ask that. I didn't even know. I'm sitting here like,
So long.
48, and it's taken forever, but like
I've had some clutches go past 90 days, and I can tell you those 3 months are brutal.
Is that do the bigger ones, because it seems like bigger snakes go longer, so like do the non-dwarf ones go longer than the dwarf ones, which go longer than the mini dwarfs?
Right. So if they're pure super dwarf eggs, they tend to be more on the 75-day side. Like the 50% dwarfs that I hatched, those were bigger eggs from my bigger females. And those ones went 85. I think one of them went to 88 this year, but last year I had them go past 90 days.
90.
Yeah. I got really impatient.
God, can you imagine those females in the wild?
Sitting on those eggs the whole time. Yeah, that's why when I'm explaining to anybody who's not a snake person why we take away the eggs, like she could go a whole year without eating, because of when breeding starts to by the time those eggs hatch, it can be a really long time.
Do there people who maternally incubate?
There's actually another female retic keeper who has done maternal incubation twice now for retics, and she's done it really successfully. She has just an amazing relationship with her animals and was able to take care of them while they were sitting on the eggs, and they allowed that. But I think that's kind of a more unique situation.
How do you take care of them when they're sitting on the eggs?
Like she would bring a bowl of water up, and you would see the mom just like reach over and like drink some water, and like, yeah, just an amazing relationship. Like she would bring her a small mouse or something to eat, and
she would eat on eggs,
and she would stay right there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I
So
saw
special.
there was somebody who hatched some green trees out the other day. I think it's a European guy that had some babies that were coming out from underneath mom, and I think that is such a cool picture, but I am not willing to do it to get a cool picture.
No. I think it's
not willing.
To me, it's too risky with the female, and like you have to have your stuff dialed in. You know, if anything goes wrong in that cage, you could lose everything very quickly. Whereas an incubator is easier to control the environment than in a cage. So
I think maybe, I have quite a few Biocs. I think maybe one day I might try with some Biocs. But it's such a weird, like, okay, what if there's, I don't know, I get weird. I don't even like my eggs touching in the incubator, because I'm like, what if one goes rotten and then it makes the other ones go rotten?
She didn't have a perfect hatch on either clutch. There were some that didn't make it. Yeah. It's just kind of part of the process, I guess.
Definitely. Well, we have had fun chatting. Yeah. I will sit here and ask you questions all night long, but we do have Stephen Cush coming on for his normal Wednesday afterwards. So, and I don't want to hang you up too much. I think I can probably hear Stephen in the background. He get back.
Yep, he's back. They're getting our son to bed here soon. So
yeah, I can hear my toddler is still awake. It was 8:30, and I don't know why. But
Grandma's in town.
yeah, I know. But well, that's awesome. I'm super excited. So the clutches that you have getting ready to hatch, is there any more world firsts possibly in there?
Probably not, but they're going to be some high percentage super dwarfs, 75% plus for both clutches. So some pretty nice small snakes. That'll be pretty.
And people can follow you at
Mod
Exotics on Facebook and Instagram, right?
Yep. And Jennifer Jean on Facebook. I'm not as good about posting on my Mod Exotics Facebook page. So.
I started to say, I have to admit that I probably don't see you. I think I see you post most of your stuff on
my
personal and on your personal Facebook and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
Well, definitely I will be following along. I like to see all of them. I don't think I will do, but I don't know. Does the cow one come in super dwarf?
I'm working on a cow project. I will have cows someday. That is the one thing that my husband said he wants as his own retic is a cow.
I have to agree with him. So maybe one day if you get it and it's in the tiny form, I will do one. You know what? We will make that agreement right here, right now.
Okay.
Sorry, Greg. But if you make a tiny cow, I will be lined up the second person behind Steven.
What woman doesn't like a tiny cow? Come on.
Oh, me, I love cows. I want the real thing too. But
cows.
Well, thank you for coming and chatting. Super excited to see things. And yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yay.
And have fun this weekend at Tinley.
I will. I am not buying anything.
Famous last words.
I am not. How would I get it home? That's my argument. How would I get it home?
You'll find a way.
Oh, don't say that. Okay. Well, I'll let you go. You're good to go ahead and just pop off and go enjoy your night. Okay.
We'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye. Greg will kill me if I get a big snake, but I'm for real though, y'all. I could do a little speckled cow retic. I think that would be super fun. Well, y'all, it's been super fun. I still have to pack a bag because I'm a last minute packer. I also would like to get out of the crosshairs of these snakes. So, y'all have a great rest of your Sunday. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. Sorry, I'm not there to look at the comments or do whatever. But guys, once again, if you liked this episode, if you like any snakes, any reptiles in general, because again, we talk about it all. So please make sure that you hit that like, hit that subscribe, drop a comment even, on Sunday when I'm not able to see it. And we will be back. All in the Trees is on Tuesdays. So I'm a fan of that one. That's my favorite. But we will be back on Sundays for the Girls Who Love Reptiles podcast. If there's somebody that you want to see, someone you think that would be a really great person to bring on to here, a great female keeper, a great female breeder, please hit me up on Instagram, or you can hit up Christa. Christa, y'all, we'll see you next week. You can hit her up as well and give us some suggestions. We love being able to talk to new people. And so if you think there's somebody good for that role, by all means, please head out. But guys, this has been super duper fun. And I will see y'all in 2 weeks. Bye.